Hello, and welcome to this edition of Energy Connects Discussions with me, Julian Walker, as I speak to leading energy executives and experts around the world for Energy Connects, our global platform for the entire energy industry. I'm delighted to welcome Jaime Ruiz-Cabrero, Managing Director, Senior Partner and Head of Boston Consulting Group Southeast Asia, and Aadrin Azly, Chief Digital Officer of PETRONAS. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you, Julian, for having us. Our pleasure.
Now, what we're going to talk about today is the creation of the AI Center of Excellence at PETRONAS that was announced at ADIPEC. And Aadrin, I want to start with you. What is the significance of establishing this new AI Center of Excellence in your view?
Okay, when PETRONAS decided to embark on our digital transformation journey somewhat 4 years ago, from the onset, we recognized that data science is going to be quite a critical skill, and a data science group has been established. And with this, that we've come up with several solutions and applications that actually utilizes AI. In fact, over the years, we've actually realized about $6 billion worth of value being created through AI. Nonetheless, I think we recognize moving forward, the real challenge is how do we scale these solutions faster? How can we do it at a more rapid pace in terms of scaling it up within the organization? And how do we do it and drive better adoption throughout the whole organization? And then the third one is, with AI moving so rapid as well, how can we make sure that in terms of the capability side of things, we can also keep pace with the requirements of the industry and in this AI scope? So rather than just doing it as a division within Group Digital, we've kind of high-graded this to become a COE and working with partners. So that's really the intent of this COE being set up.
Great, well, that's really interesting. Thanks for giving us a foundation of why it was. And Jaime, I'd just like to also get you in and also to hear from you again, Aadrin. How will AI help revolutionize the energy sector?
Really good. I think as we heard from Aadrin, I think AI is already playing an increasing role in the oil and gas value chain. And by the way, it's happening across the value chain, in upstream, in midstream, downstream, and all the way down to B2B and B2C customer engagement. So it's already happening across the board. But I also agree with Aadrin when the real value and the real impact will come when we can deploy this at scale. And really throughout the organization and beyond the pilots, right? And how we can deploy that value. I think first of all, it can help increase productivity and yield of the assets, by double digit. So imagine the same infrastructure delivering double digit growth and value. It can help, for instance, simulate very complex systems and actually come with optimal solutions where today you can only get a best guess or good enough solution. I'm talking about things like very complex logistics problems. I'm talking about things like facilities turnaround, around maintenance and the schedules around that, which are also very complex, or things like large contracts portfolios. So all of these things with AI, you can simulate the optimal solution as opposed to a good enough solution. We can even use AI to help reduce the time to perform a task, and we've seen examples where we've done this by 30 to 50% in some cases. So you can imagine the impact that can have across the value chain. It can also help improve the relationship with our clients, with the energy clients. Again, via things like personalization. And I like to close with something that's actually quite interesting, and I would say even sometimes counterintuitive, which is AI can actually help improve the satisfaction of our employees. So we just released actually yesterday a joint report with the MIT. And in that report, we proved that we interview a number of employees that use AI, and interestingly, around 64% of those that use AI really derive value from it, and those that derive value are 3.4 times more satisfied as employees than the rest. And even furthermore, when you ask them how they feel about AI, a staggering 60% would tell you that they feel like the AI systems are like co-workers. So really it's helping also develop a more satisfied workforce.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that insight. Adrian, do you want to add anything?
I think Jaime has covered quite a fair bit in terms of the current operations and the current use cases. But maybe, just the energy industry itself now is also facing a revolution, right? In the sense of energy transition. I think this is a big topic now. And I think under that energy transition, there's this trilemma of making it available, making it affordable, but at the same time, making it cleaner as well. So if we look at, things like carbon reduction and methane reduction, we see it from three levels where I think AI can play a role on all three levels. The lowest fruit, if we can call it, is just to make sure that we operationalize our assets in a more optimized manner. And that's where Jaime was coming from, that if we are able to operate in a more optimized manner, that itself can reduce carbon, right? But once we've achieved that, the second level is, again, things like monitoring, measurement, automation. And again, those are real areas where I think AI can come in. The third layer, once we've been able to become more efficient and we've been able to measure it, is the intelligence part. Making sure that our machines are more intelligent, making sure that our assets are having more insight so that we can also reduce and manage and have cleaner energy being produced through this role. So I think in all three roles, both from being more efficient, measurement, and also intelligence, this is where AI can play a more significant role moving forward. And I think that's just going to get more and more prevalent as we try and tackle this energy challenge moving forward.
No, that's really poignant. Thanks, Adrian. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned a few there, but I mean, any other challenges of bringing, great AI, you said, or, more advanced AI to the energy sector?
I think for us, it sounds probably the most typical one is data, right? Everyone wants to do AI, everyone wants to have insights, but no one really wants to have or to handle the data. So I think this is where, for me, it has to come from both sides of the coin. From handling the data itself, there needs to be a lot more work in order to clean up the data, to make sure that we have data policies, to make sure, like, for example, in PETRONAS, while we are working on the AI part of it, we are also putting in our enterprise data hub. We have data policies. We have a platform where people can be served data more easily. And this is ensuring that it's clean data and good quality data. So that must be done. But I think, having said that, we live in a world where having perfect data is never the case. So if AI works in a world where the data has to be perfect, I think this is, again, another challenge that on the AI side, on the data science side, that they must be able to create more robust models that can take data quality that is not that great. I always say that this is the analogy is, if I say that I can only create the perfect meal if I have Wagyu beef or caviar, well, the world will be perfect, right? But the world is not perfect. So the name of the game is, how can AI and data science starts becoming more robust in their models, that they can tackle lesser, cleaner data. So I think that's the two critical challenge from both sides of the coin.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Adrian, on that.
Let me add a very quick thing. I was listening to Adrian, and in BCU, we use an expression around what makes AI work. And we have this expression, we say it's 10, 20, 70 rule, which is really 10% of the solution comes from the technology, right? From the computers, it's pretty much there. 20% of the value comes from the actual algorithms, having the data scientists that can actually come up with the algorithms and code that into the different systems. But 70% of the solution will actually come from the people, the processes, the change management, the culture required to make it happen. So at the end of the day, it's a combination of those things, right? So it's tech, it's algorithms, and very importantly, people. At the end of the day, it's people that are going to use it, people that are going to deploy it, people that are going to get the value out of it.
Absolutely. I think, you can't forget the importance of people. And actually, well, I've got you on. How do you think, can you advance AI maturity? How important is that as well to the factor?
Yeah, so, I mean, the way we're thinking on when we talk about partnerships like this one we're discussing, right? I mean, first of all, is really having help deploy and steward a center of excellence and help advance, in the extent of our possibilities, the AI maturity, right? This includes things like co-developing AI frameworks, standards, processes, best practices, you name it, right? It's about leveraging also our BCGU, this entity called it's a BCG University, and use it to help upskill and develop at scale AI talent. We also like to think about bilateral secondment programs, which also help and reinforce different partners, and of course, doing joint research in cutting edge areas in an IP, right? So that would be one area where we can think about. Another area on how to advance the maturity of AI, right? It's really to think about how to accelerate and scale up the use of AI to unlock value, right? If we think about a partnership, it will be about preferential access, for instance, to our IP and solutions when it comes to AI. That would be one thing. But also, and probably, I think more important, is to really have joint teams of AI scientists, joint teams of AI engineers that can actually tackle the problems together. And that's how you actually learn, and actually you develop joint value and actually collaborate with each other, right? And then last but not least, in a place like Malaysia, right? I think we would be more than honored to help also develop a progressive AI ecosystem in the country. I think the potential of Malaysia is massive, and we can do this by establishing our own BCG center of Gamma in KL. That would be something that would be part of it, or even in a partnership like this one, think about joint commercialization and joint go-to-market. We've done this with other partners as well, and it's part of the joint development of solutions and then joint go-to-market.
That's really good to hear. I mean, I think the emphasis there, collaboration and working together. And, just want to refocus on, so do you feel then this new center shows the importance of what you've just been talking about, partnership and collaboration? I'd like to get both your views on this as well.
Yeah, sure, I'm happy to share some thoughts here. I mean, absolutely, Julian, I think, today's world is very complex and fast-paced, right? And increasingly now, and incredibly now volatile as well. So I think partnerships are critical, right? So I think no player can do everything alone, right? We need to leverage the capabilities and the abilities of others to create, and let me underscore this well, real ecosystems. I think the word here is create ecosystems, right? I think it's we need to think about how we can unlock more value by, in other words, leverage each other's unfair advantage. Everybody's strong at something, right? So how do you leverage that unfair advantage, and by going together create that more value? And by the way, what's very interesting is in these situations, you would find companies that sometimes can be your supplier, sometimes can be your client, and oftentimes also your partner, right? The same entity. So it's you end up with having very interesting relationships, right? And just to give you a sense and share with you one data point to close this question. BCG has today 160 different digital and tech partners, and they help us in many things. We work together in things like infrastructure and platforms, or they help us and we partner with them on implementation support, or as we said earlier, we can have JVs and joint go-to-market, or even joint R&D and facilities, innovation facilities, right? So multiple flavors of partnerships, and I think increasingly so we'll need more and more of those.
Great, thanks. And Aadrin.
Yeah. Just to echo that, I think that word ecosystem is something that really resonate with me as well. I think if we look at this term AI itself, it's not one thing. Within AI itself, there are so many disciplines within that. And having the expertise and the talents to actually achieve these multiple things is hard enough on its own. But beyond that capability, we need to think of other things as well. We need to think of IPs, platforms, having the right business problems, having the right assets to work on it, having the ability to scale it, having to drive adoption. So I think this is larger than one man, one team, and one company. And diversifying our joint forces is the way to go about it. And I think this AI COE really represents that, right? Because the partners that we have here is from different strength. We've got somebody with IP and capability. We have somebody with the operational knowledge and the assets. And we've got other partners that brings platforms, for example, and tools. So again, this is not a limited partnership. It's an ecosystem build, but I'm very confident that the partnership that we started today with the AI COE will hopefully create that nucleus, will create excitement in the market so that the best talents will also be excited to come and join this journey together with us, and we can really grow this ecosystem within Malaysia and even beyond for PETRONAS, and who knows, perhaps even to commercialize, like Jaime said. So I'm personally excited about this journey. I think this is the right way and the only way to go about it if we're really interested to scale at pace.
Great, Aadrin. Well, I wish you all the best. And just before we go, I've got one final question, around energy transition. And, do you think AI can help bring about the energy transition faster?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think absolutely it will. I think, Aadrin, you mentioned some of the examples earlier, right? I mean, today is already helping. I think it's bringing, delivering more efficient operations, which by itself will obviously also reduce emissions, right? So it's already helping. But I think as we scale AI and think about new solutions, it will even accelerate and help us, right? And I can give you 3 examples. And by the way, some of them we had the chance of seeing solutions around this topic in ADIPEC. So, but they're real examples. So for instance, AI can really help unlock and identify where the scope 3 emissions are. It's a very complex issue, the scope 3 emissions, both upstream and downstream. And there are already solutions in the market that actually help you with AI understand really where they're coming from. And more importantly, beyond creating the baseline, really help you prioritize where to focus. It's a massive problem, to solve the scope 3, and really knowing where to start and where to have the big impact is a massive first step. And I think AI today is the only way forward, right? Because it's impossible otherwise to really get an exact view of how all the scope 3 emissions are, where they're coming from. So that's one example. It's a real example. Another example, and we saw a lot of those in ADIPEC as well, is methane emissions. So the only way to really understand the emissions and where they're coming from is a combination of hardware, things like drones or satellites combined with AI. And then the smart solution with AI is that not only you can measure how much fugitive emissions you have in the asset, but also via AI, where it's coming from within the asset. So you can not only know how much, but also how to solve it, right? And again, these are emerging and real solutions that AI will unlock. And one last example, the world of energy and power is becoming decentralized in many ways, right? So you're going to have a decentralized suppliers, decentralized demand, right? And going back to the point of complex systems, I think AI will help, get together and actually find an optimal solution with decentralized power supply, batteries, EVs, different demand centers, non-firm power capacity. I think there's no way current systems can do it, and I think AI will be a key element to find an optimal solution there, and that will in turn help on the emissions problem.
Great, Amy. Well, thanks a lot for giving me your point of view there, and really good to hear about specific examples. And I think there was quite a lot of that at ADIPEC.
Very good.
Well, just before I go, I just want to say thanks to both of you. I really appreciate you giving me your time to speak about this really fascinating, creation of the AI Center in Malaysia, but also the bigger picture of how important a role AI will play in the future of energy. Really great conversations from both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Julian.
Thanks everyone for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more engaging conversations soon.